Have you ever made OBUSHERA and it turned out sour, very thick, very watery, with an embarrassing raw flour taste? You are not alone. Today I'm going to break down the common mistakes people make when they are making OBUSHERA and how to fix them so that the next time you make it, it's smooth, authentic, and very delicious. Hi guys, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. On this channel, I share about recipes that I've made. I share about raising bilingual children. I encourage immigrant parents to teach their children their ethnic language. I talk about personal finance. I talk about budgeting. I also share some recipes. And today, in this video, I'm going to talk about the common mistakes people make when they are making OBUSHERA. Most people have tried to make OBUSHERA, but it hasn't turned out nice from what I've seen from the comments on the video that I made of making OBUSHERA. So today I decided to go through the common mistakes people make. If you want to watch a video how I make OBUSHERA, you can click the description. I've linked a video where I'm actually making the drink, aka OBUSHERA. Mistake number one, using millet flour that is not fresh. Sometimes people use millet flour that has spent a long time on the shelf, and that affects the quality of the OBUSHERA you will get at the end of the process. It's very important that you buy the flour that is new, like the recent harvest. It's very important that you buy the flour that is newly harvested so that you rule out the chance of it being smelly or sour or moldy. So the fix here is, how you fix it is you always buy flour that is new. How do you know it is new? You smell it, and if it has a foul smell, that's probably has been on the shelf for long. And when you taste it, it's sweet and has a slightly nutty aroma. If it smells sour or foul, just avoid it. Mistake number two, adding too much cold water at the beginning. You know, when you're making OBUSHERA, you first mix millet flour and water. So in that process of making it, some people add too much water at the beginning, and it makes it so watery at the end of the whole process. So you're supposed to make that first mixture is supposed to be like runny, but not so runny. Like maybe the pancake batter, you know, like that, the one they used to make these pancakes, these English pancakes. Like that batter, the way it is runny, but not so runny. That is how the paste is supposed to look like before you add in hot water. The fix is know how much of OBUSHERA you want so that you measure accordingly. But once you watch the video I made, you will understand what I'm talking about. So how you fix it, like start with a runny paste that is not so runny, like no, that is, when you watch the video you will see it. So go and watch that video and you will get what I'm talking about. You will understand what I'm talking about. Mistake number three, and this is very common, adding sugar. Making traditional OBUSHERA or OBUSHERA does not require sugar whatsoever. So if you're putting sugar, you're putting it on your own. You don't put sugar. If you want to go further and make entulile, that is when you add honey, which comes in later also, not immediately, after some good hours, right? So if you're putting in sugar, just know you're making your own stuff. If you make it and it's not sweet, you probably used wrong flour that has been on the shelf for 7 months. Yeah. So it's not supposed to have sugar. The fix here is do not put sugar. Another mistake people make when they're making OBUSHERA is not stirring immediately. Once you pour in hot water at first in that paste you make, you're supposed to stir immediately to avoid lumps. To beat up the lumps and they dissolve in the OBUSHERA, so that it's all smooth. Because once it's not smooth, once it's lumpy, it's not nice. So the fix is, after you've poured in hot water, stir immediately for like 2-3 minutes, like until the lumps dissolve. Another mistake people make, making the wrong fermentation process. Now, OBUSHERA is fermented in two different ways. There's the light fermentation and then the intense fermentation. The light fermentation takes about 6 to 8 hours after you've made the OBUSHERA. But then there is the intense one. For example, if you're making entudide, it takes longer. You have to ferment it for like 72 hours before you add the honey. So depending on what you're doing or depending on what you're making, you have to know which fermentation process am I going to use. Am I going to use the longer one or am I going to use the shorter one? If you're going to make the regular bushera, you're probably going to ferment it for like 6 to 8 hours. The fix is if you want mild fermentation, 6 to 8 hours is enough. But if you want intense fermentation or if you're making it today, you have to keep it in there for longer, covered properly for about 72 hours. Another mistake people make when they're making OBUSHERA is not letting it cool down before they drink it. OBUSHERA is supposed to be drunk when it is cold. So if you're drinking it when it's hot, you're drinking something else. And it's most probably not ready. The time it takes to ferment, the better it tastes. The fix here is let it cool before you drink it. Cover it properly and then let it cool before you drink it. It is best when you like make it tonight and then like you leave it overnight. Another mistake people make when they're making OBUSHERA is storing it wrong, storing it in dirty places, storing it when it is uncovered, storing it when it in hot places. OBUSHERA is supposed to be stored in a cool, dark room. Yeah, it's not supposed to be out in the open. It's not supposed to be left open. So if you store it badly, sometimes the outcome may not be as you would like or as it's supposed to be. The fix here is cover it properly, and if it's already cool, keep it, like put it in a container and put it in the fridge. If you don't have a fridge, put it in a container like a jerry can or another container that you can cover properly, and then put it in a cool area, like on the counter or like in a corner somewhere that is cool and clean. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow and it helps this video to be seen by building a community here who love culture, who love food, who love wellness. Yeah, so if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.